morning, voters. According to the Karnataka State Natural Disaster Monitoring Center, of the 30 districts in the state, 24 have been hit by a massive drought. People there are struggling for basic water, for drinking purposes, for basic daily use purposes, and of course for farming. But I guess we forgot to tell that to the MLAs who are chilling in Mumbai and in Gurugram, chilling by the pool, spending their days in luxury. They obviously have no idea what's going on in their state, or at least they don't care about it. Part of the state has just a few months ago witnessed massive floods that led to destruction worth crores. We brought you stories of how hundreds of people had been rendered homeless. But it looks like these netas are far away from that reality, busy playing cricket, taking strolls in the park. For days now, no MLA, no legislator of the BJP in Karnataka and several of the Congress have done any work at all. Why? Because of one simple thing: greed. Greed for more power, greed for more money. Simply greed and nothing else. So tonight we ask, shouldn't these netas instead be telling us when will the loan waivers be fully implemented in Karnataka? They've not even completed it 10%. Shouldn't these netas, instead of enjoying this luxury, taking a stroll in the luxurious parks of national capital, be telling us when will the frothing lakes of Karnataka, of Bengaluru, of Mysore be cleaned up? Tonight we ask, is this what Karnataka voted for?
At a time when 90% of the talukas have been declared drought-hit, our politicians are relaxing by the pool. At a time when students are out in the streets, demanding to be heard, protesting for more education and job opportunities, our leaders are playing cricket at luxury hotels. And at a time when the state's environment is screaming for attention, our politicians are leisurely strolling in a five-star resort. It seems like it's been no work and all play this week for Karnataka MLAs. And the power politics continues.
From morning, I have not met anybody. Any leaders I have not met. Then I request our media friends not to become fools.
तो बहुत से एमएलए उनको ये भी पूछे एक दो जिनको उन्होंने कोशिश की, भाई पहले 11 बताओ, उसके बाद में 12वां कोई तो नाम आएगा। तो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ अफवाहें उठा रहे हैं और लोगों को भ्रमित कर रहे हैं।
The Congress party, the Janata Dal government in Karnataka is stable.
Mirror now asks, when will our country's politicians deal with issues that really matter? Let's debate.
Let's say good evening to our panelists. Aishwarya Mahadev, spokesperson for the Congress party, is with us again this evening. Karthik Shekhar, a Citizen Voice, is joining us. Vaman Acharya, spokesperson for the BJP. Justice Saldana, former judge of the Bombay High Court. It's a pleasure to have him on the show. Neeja Chaudhary, a senior journalist. Always good to have her. Let me begin by asking Mr. Vaman Acharya. Mr. Vaman Acharya, when are your MLAs going to get back to doing some work? Are they done vacationing in Gurugram?
Four days back, there was a national executive at Delhi. We had all gone there. Even I was there. After that, the situation in Karnataka changed suddenly. The Congress and the Janata Dal together running the government here started poaching BJP MLAs. The Chief Minister of Karnataka openly challenges that I have 6 to 7 MLAs on my roll. I can call anytime and purchase them. After this announcement, we became little cautious and felt that we should hold our MLAs in some place which is safe.
Why?
And since we were all in Delhi,
Why do you want these greedy people in your party?
Now, under this...
Why do you want these greedy people in your party? It's not as if you lose 6 to 7 MLAs, the government will fall. How does it matter?
No, I'll tell you, the situation in Karnataka is different. It's not a very moral situation. People from Karnataka who are running the government, the MLAs in the government itself are running away. You may be aware that about 15 to 20 MLAs from Karnataka government, especially of Congress, are already in Mumbai for different reasons. They are unhappy with the government that they have. They want a change. In this situation, the Janata Dal government wanted to take a revenge by taking some of the MLAs from us to them. So we are protecting them, not only protecting, it is creating a confidence among our MLAs that nothing will happen, no poaching can be done here.
Mr. Acharya, it's good at least you're admitting this much, that you have at least locked up your MLAs in a 5-star luxury hotel in Gurugram because you fear poaching. Yesterday, your colleague who was here told us, oh, they're all sitting there strategizing about what they should be, the kind of work they should be doing in Karnataka after your national convention. So at least I appreciate that you're being honest, saying, oh, we can't do any work, because we have to first hold on to all our MLAs. Power is more important right now than doing some work. Greedy MLAs on both sides, there is no denying that. Aishwarya Mahadev, what about your guys? When are they going to get back to work?
I don't agree to your further statement.
If you can't keep your people within your own clan, why would you want to form a government and run the place, give the job to somebody who has the people?
Because
Mr. Acharya, I will come back to you. Let me just go across to the Congress representative.
There's a huge media frenzy.
Yes, Aishwarya Mahadev, tell me. Go ahead, please.
See, there has been a huge media frenzy. There has been a huge media frenzy about the number of MLAs who are missing and whatnot. We have already stated that there are 3 MLAs who are in Maharashtra, not Mr. Vamanacharya's lies about 15, 16 MLAs, none whatsoever. There are 3 MLAs. There's Mr. Bhima Nayak and then other 2, all 3 of whom are now returning to Karnataka. It has been confirmed. At no point in time did we lose touch with them, and no point in time did we lose contact. However, you realize that the BJP tried to put people to guard there. And I think that we have guarded our flock, which is evidenced by the fact that we haven't put everybody up in a resort.
So what are you giving them?
Because we understand the drought situation, and I'm very appreciative of the fact
what
that
are you giving them? Are they getting the Porsches and the Beamers that they wanted? Are they getting the posts that they wanted? What are they? What are you giving these greedy guys? How did you get them back?
Tanvi, I think Tanvi, it's course correction at some point, because we had to remind them of something of anti-defection, if at all they thought of the possibility, and how disqualification law applies, and also remind them that it was the Indian National Congress that fielded them in this attempt of them being a successful MLA, and also the fact that upcoming elections are there. There is no inducement whatsoever, because we're not the BJP to induce you with money or even talk about coercion of IT and ED raids, which we have been speaking about for months now, Tanvi, which fell on deaf ears with the authorities. So we basically told them that this is the place, and tomorrow we are on the 18th.
Yes. No, go ahead, please finish the point. Yes. I wanted to understand if you're going to tell us how you managed to convince just only these 3 MLAs to come back home and start working.
See, very simply, Tanvi, there was a lot of speculation about where a lot of MLAs are, like where Mr. Anand Singh was. And a lot of channels said, no, he's in Maharashtra, while we saw him with Mr. D.K. Shukmar, where the Kampli MLA was, where Shivali was, a whole bunch of them, right? A lot of them have been in their constituency, especially the North Karnataka leaders. Because yesterday, Mr. Satish Jarkiholi came back and said, I was in my constituency. So I believe that the only 3 MLAs who are in Mumbai, only 3 are coming back now, and very simply put that on the 18th, the Congress Legislative Party meeting is going to happen, and all of our MLAs are going to be present, and we have no fear whatsoever, because if we had any fear, then we'd also be holed up in a luxurious resort while the state is reeling under drought.
Okay, I find it hard to believe that in 2019 an MLA can actually go missing for 24 hours and there is no contact, and this is really a ridiculous way of how legislators function. Karthik Shekhar, you've heard the 2 political representatives. Before I go to our experts, let me get in a citizen voice. and ask you, how do the people of Karnataka see what's going on?
As a citizen, I feel like it is the enactment of monk who sold Ferrari.
Yes.
And I'm not sure any of the citizens who voted for all these MLAs will ever be able to drive in any of the Porsches or get the ministerial berths. And they're only there to make sure that this hangama and tamasha goes on, and no government of whatsoever, and all kinds of tamasha goes on. And by then we have the general election coming in, and I think it's just a sad state, and we are not looking at what we can do in the new year. Focus on the job creation, petrol hike, and all kinds of things that were leveled against each other. That is not looked at. Only thing that they are trying to say is, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, I give you a Porsche, you give me a ministerial berth. I am just lost. Is it what we as a citizen voted for? Is there any banana republic that we are staying in? I have no idea.
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask also our viewers to call in or leave their messages on Involve or Twitter. And I'm asking this question: what would you rather have your Neta focus on? Let's try and remind them why we voted them to power. Let's tell them the issue that actually matters to you, because obviously why we didn't vote them to power for them to go and play cricket in some luxury hotel or to chill by the pool while people in Karnataka are struggling with a drought. Now, this is not the first time we've seen this in Karnataka. It probably will not be the last. Neerja Chaudhary, good evening to you. We are being told, and the Congress representative is also saying that these MLAs are set to return tomorrow and everything will be fine. But do you think this will be the last of this kind of poaching politics we see in Karnataka in the run-up to the general elections?
You know, when the government was formed in May last year, soon thereafter, if you'll recall the numbers, BJP just missing the halfway mark, Congress at 78, the JDS at 37, with the Congress moving with an alacrity to support Mr. H.D. Kumaraswamy of JDS to form a coalition government. Even at that time, there was speculation whether before the general elections or in the run-up to 2019 polls, an attempt would be made to topple the government and try and install a BJP government in power for the obvious advantage it would give the ruling party at the center. And what we've seen in the last days makes you wonder and makes you ask this question: is an attempt being made to topple a government? And playing on the dissatisfaction of the MLAs within the Congress to offer them, all kinds of inducements. And there has been dissatisfaction in certain MLAs. It's been voiced also. They have repeatedly talked to the leadership. So what are we seeing? And any government, when you go into a general election, if you have a state government in your hands, it is obvious advantage vis-a-vis money that flows in, vis-a-vis having the mechanism of the government on your side in a poll. So I would think, and because it's so close, a battle between the two sides, I think what we are seeing is very cynical politics being played out in Karnataka today.
Ms. Chaudhary, very quickly also, what do you want to say, what would you say to what the BJP representative just, referred to, saying, oh, well, this is because within the JDS and the Congress, there were some MLAs who wanted to leave, so they thought they will fix it by taking some of ours. Do you buy that argument that BJP wasn't really an active player in this entire scenario to begin with?
No, I don't buy that at all. I buy the line, certainly, that there are dissatisfied MLAs in the JDS, in the Congress. But I think it is quite possible, given the direction in which we are seeing things move, that the BJP cannot be just a passive player here and saying, I'm only guarding my flock near Manesar in Haryana and doing nothing else. We know that not to be true.
Right. In fact, let me
They
go across
obviously
to...
would like to form a government in
Yes.
Bangalore.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there is no denying that fact. As much as BJP tells us, no, this was a very innocent decision because they wanted to protect their own. I'll go across to Mr. Vamanacharya in just a bit for a response on that. But first, Justice Saldana, thank you for joining us. We had a conversation last night as well, and I thought we should take it forward. Justice Saldana, in 2017, a similar drama played out in Tamil Nadu, where the AIADMK, a faction of the AIADMK MLAs were packed off to one resort. They stayed there for several days, and then the trust fraud drama happened. A similar thing also panned out in Uttarakhand, where the MLAs were packed off to various resort locations in the mountains, in the desert, hidden from one to the other, while backdoor negotiations continued. We saw this in Karnataka just 6 months ago after the elections, and again, is there no way, legally speaking, to stop this greed? Justice Saldana.
Here.
Justice Saldana, good evening. Can you hear me?
Tanvi.
Yes.
Good evening. The sound is very poor.
Okay, we'll just try and fix that. Justice Saldana, the conversation that we had yesterday as well, is there a legal solution to stop this greed? This time again, how MLAs go and hide in resorts and then negotiations happen for more money, for more power, sometimes for cars, sometimes for houses, sometimes for a better post. Is there a legal remedy to stop this greed?
Tanvi, before I come to that,
go ahead, please. We can hear you.
Tanvi, before I come to that, may I prefix what I have to say? I'll answer your question.
Yes, please,
but
go
may
ahead.
I briefly prefix it by
Yes.
by telling you that I think I reflect the sentiments and the opinion of every right-thinking citizen of this country who has witnessed, according to my research, this type of resort tamasha having been resorted to in the last 2 years on 23 occasions. So first of all, I would like the two representatives of these two parties to tell us as to who is footing the bills for all these, for the airfare, for all the fun that they are having, for staying at, these are not 5-star, these are 7-star hotels. Who is footing the bills? This morning over breakfast, I read in the papers of the luxurious diet and fare and everything else. Now, if they want this, let them pay it out of their own pocket. Let them resign from these posts. If they are disgruntled, the simple remedy is that they should walk out. Now, what is going on? See, you sabotage the government. This conduct is deplorable. It is disgusting. It is more than criminal. And all the time we are told that this is fun. Now, one of the representatives says that after doing all this, 2 or 3 of them have come back and the rest of them have disappeared. They probably shifted to some other resort. Now, how long is India going to tolerate this class of people? And the other part of it is that starting from the Lok Sabha to the assemblies, the first and only worthwhile thing that these fellows are doing is to raise their own salaries and their benefits. Why should any of them, after this type of dismal record, why should any of them be paid a pension? Now let me answer your question.
Yes, please.
Yesterday when I was asked about this, what I pointed out was that the anti-defection law has not been working at all, and therefore let's forget about it. Now, what is the remedy? Now, I'm posing an open question to my friends in the judiciary, both in the High Court and in the Supreme Court, because they cannot say that they are unaware of what is going on. Now, are you going to be a mute spectator? You have taken an oath to stand by the Constitution. The Constitution mandates that you will be fair and honest and loyal to it. Now, one of the basic duties is that when atrocities, public atrocities of this type are taking place, why is the judiciary quiet? Now, it is no answer to turn around and say that nobody has filed a complaint, nobody has filed a petition. Because I can tell you, I've been a judge for 16 years, and I can tell you that nobody will dare file a complaint against any of these people. They won't survive it.
Wow.
I've dealt with it in several of my judgments.
Yes.
I've said that these are situations in which the courts must take suo motu action, issue notice both to the parties and to the people concerned. And to my mind, the courts are equipped with adequate powers to debar these people from holding any form of public office or office of profit for at least 10 years. If one order of this type is passed, all this nonsense will stop.
Let me raise these points, Justice Saldanha.
It is the easiest and the quickest solution.
Let me take all your points across to the political representatives. Let me start with Vaman Acharya. 2 points, Mr. Acharya. Firstly, who is paying for the stay of 100 BJP MLAs at that fancy hotel? Secondly, do you agree that there should be that anybody who attempts poaching or even indulges in these kind of negotiations and goes and hides in a resort should be barred for 10 years?
I will answer your first question. Our MLAs have been asked to pay their bills themselves. There is nothing that the party is paying. Number two, whatever is happening
actually,
in
that's
hotels
slightly more concerning. Mr. Acharya, I'm sorry, I will interrupt you. I'm sorry, I'll interrupt you because that's slightly more concerning. When you say they've been asked to pay the bill themselves, does that mean that as legislators, they will bill this as work and go and claim it from the state and the exchequer? Because MLAs can travel for work and then claim their travel. So I'm asking you, if the party is refusing to foot the bill, is the Karnataka state going to do that? Are the people of Karnataka going to do that?
No. No. Karnataka government also cannot do and will not do and should not do. There is no issue on that. Now, the second question that you have posed is, see, as far as developmental and other issues are concerned, Karnataka government has been paralyzed for last 7 months. Nothing is happening here. We should be worried about the losses that are happening to the people there, because it's a government of the people where nothing is happening. Just government ministers are staying here. My own chief minister is operating from a 5-star hotel. His regular office, he even doesn't go to his house. He has been given a quarter, but still he operates from a 5-star hotel. We will not be much worried about from where he operates and how much he spends, because he has said that it is his own money. The issue is what for a quarter has been given to him. Now, more than that, we are here to perform some activities for people. Karnataka is hit by drought. 153 talukas are suffering. People are under trouble.
Okay.
Now, the issue is not who stays where and how much spends on hotels.
So are you telling me
but the issue
that
is here,
these
who
MLAs,
is performing for
these
government?
MLAs, 1 minute.
Who is performing for
Vaman
people?
Acharya, are you
Who
telling me this man in a bathrobe, that BJP MLA who is standing by the pool in the bathrobe and enjoying his day, this bunch of MLAs who are playing cricket in Gurugram, this happened yesterday, we have visuals of them relaxing today. Are you telling me this is how they are remotely working for their constituencies? Is this the work they are doing? Of these 26 districts that have been declared drought-hit, how many of them are under the BJP? Over 100 MLAs of BJP are missing from Karnataka. You're not even in the state.
I'll come to that. See, they are not being paid by anybody. The issue here is there are democratic values. The government should survive here. MLAs should not be poached. Chief Minister himself says that MLAs are available for sale and I am doing it. In this condition, when the whole process of democracy and people getting elected are under threat, it is natural that they are to be kept away. And they cannot live in huts and be protected. They are living in a moderate situation there, and they are paying it by themselves. They are not very poor people.
Sure.
They are well-placed people, most of the MLAs. Those who cannot pay, they may not pay, live there, they can come back.
No, they are all locked up there. I don't think they have a choice of where they will go and stay. And of course they should pay. If your party refuses to pay for them, then of course you should pay. That's not the point. But I refuse to buy this theory that they are doing any work. 100 MLAs who were voted to power, I am sure some of them have districts and constituencies that have been drought hit. I am sure many of them have youngsters in their constituencies who are today demanding for more jobs. People are demanding better infrastructure. 100 elected representatives, legislators are not even in the state for the past 6 days now, because for 2 days they were attending the BJP annual convention. Now they are chilling in this hotel for 4 days, and you're telling us there is nothing much, that we should in fact just focus on what the government, whether the government is falling or not. How does it matter to the BJP? You are not in government right now.
Not only about what they spend.
I am not talking about what they're spending anymore, Mr. Acharya. Aishwarya Mahadev, the Justice Saldana has a question for both of you.
Even recently, 44 Gujarat MLAs were brought to Karnataka, and we have seen right in front of our eyes.
No, you're saying exactly what Justice Saldana has said. 23 occasions. The Justice has researched and brought out, Mr. Acharya, 23 occasions, and barring a few of them that may have involved any regional party, most of these 23 instances are about the Congress party and the BJP. 23 instances of poaching and resort politics in the last couple of years. It is shocking, and it is appalling how this is even allowed in our country every now and then. So what happened to the promises, Aishwarya, that you have made? Because your chief minister, your deputy chief minister, the heads of your state units are all busy right now making calls to convince these guys to come back to work, are all busy right now making calls to BJP guys to get them on your side. Who is governing the state right now?
Very simply, Tanvi, in response to what Mr. Justice Saldana said, and this is something I say not as a political representative or a representative of a party.
Chief Minister himself has said.
But, sir, I did not interrupt you. I expect you to respect me enough for me to finish.
Vaman,
and
please
then
let Ms. Mahadev finish her point,
very
please.
Simply, Tanvi, what has happened? See, Tanvi, very simply, as a common citizen of this country and also being a lawyer, I understand, and I also want to point out to Mr. Saldana that I believe our anti-defection law has to be much stronger. And obviously, political parties gain out of this, but I understand that governance suffers at all points. But when Mr. Vamanacharya comes out and speaks about how, governance has not happened, I believe with 104 MLAs, sir, you are expected to be a reasonable and also a strong opposition. In the Belgavi session, Tanvi, you realize that attendance of BJP MLAs were abysmal while we were discussing development projects and whatnot. And also nothing has stalled here because the state is still preparing its budget. The government is still functioning. Even when it comes to Bangalore, and I'm sure the Citizen Voice will concur, is that the Deputy CM and ITBT Minister have been going about work. Work has not stalled. However, 3 of our MLAs are coming back. Yes, it was a minor spanner in the works, but I think that has been sorted. But the larger question is, look at the demographic of the BJP MLAs, Tanvi, and this is very crucial. Look at the drought-hit constituencies in the areas in Karnataka and correlate that with the BJP MLAs that exist, and you will know who is a responsible MLA and who is not. They're not a responsible opposition and they're not responsible MLAs. And third, what Mr. Vamanacharya is doing is blatantly lying to you about the about Mr. Kumar.
Coming from a party whose coalition government is barely sustaining on a daily basis. That's rich coming from a party, Aishwarya. I'll give you points for at least trying to put up that brave face. But 3 MLAs go to a resort in another city and it looks like the government is going to come down, and then the entire top leadership has to spend days together to try and negotiate with them, whether give them fancy cars, fancy bungalows or fancy secretary jobs. I don't know what they're going to get finally. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that just a bunch of MLAs today in Karnataka can hold the entire governance and government to ransom. And that's what is happening. Let me bring in a viewer, a citizen from Karnataka.
And I'm telling you, even if 3 MLAs left, we would still have majority. And I don't believe the Congress party is one that will have anybody hold them to ransom. We have told you about anti-defection. We have also
two independent MLAs have already left. Three MLAs are supposedly holidaying somewhere or the other, it seems.
Two independent MLAs have withdrawn support.
But
it doesn't matter. Our numbers are not tumbling.
Let's hope, Aishwarya Mahadev, that this is going to end in these 4 days, and tomorrow, when your party leadership actually takes an attendance roll call, as is being planned, that you take attendance of all of their Congress guys, they all turn up. I mean, it is appalling that it's come down to this. That now the party head in the state has to actually take attendance of the MLAs to check.
My party leadership has said the same. So it doesn't serve well for you to speculate, because you're creating public perception.
I'm not speculating anything.
If my party leadership has said we have our numbers, I don't think anybody should contradict until we come down to the numbers. So on 18th, Tanvi, let's have the same discussion.
I don't think anybody is contradicting or what you are saying today. Yes, Karthik, go ahead, please.
Tanvi, the best joke which is going on the WhatsApp is, on top of Vidhan Sabha, it's written, government's work is God's work. So the only person who is working in Karnataka is God, because the Chief Minister was on Singapore trip, the opposition is on a holiday mode. I'm not sure who is working here. So finally, it looks like God is the only person working and saving the citizens.
Right. Let me go across to Mr. S.S. Rao, a citizen called from Bengaluru.
The Chief Minister went to Singapore on medical emergency.
Okay, all right, Aishwarya. Let me just bring in one of our viewers from Bengaluru. Mr. S.S. Rao has been patiently waiting by, so let's hear one of our viewers. Mr. Rao, good evening. Go ahead, please.
Very good evening. I would like to mention one simple thing. All these fights going on your channel is very sad and disappointing. We have elected the people not to fight like this, like I don't know what words to use, and going holiday resorts. I am a senior citizen, and I am paying for their bills. I have paid for 40 years income tax, and now today on the little income that I got after my retirement, I am paying income tax on that interest, and from that interest these people are enjoying. What a shame on this state.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Rao, I can understand your sentiment, especially when you vote somebody, you do your research, you decide on someone, and then they don't deliver on their promise. It can be very, very frustrating, and most citizens, most voters in our country would agree. Ashok Sharma is on the phone line calling us from Delhi. Good evening, Ashok.
Good evening, Tanvi. First of all, I want to congratulate you that you have emerged as a very dynamic young journalist on the television in Asia.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok.
Secondly, now I want to ask both these Congress and BJP spokesperson that all your MLAs, what work they have done in 7 months in their constituencies. One. Secondly, now all these people who are staying at a 5-star hotel, they are staying at whose expenses? Are they going to make the payment cash or by their credit card? I don't want to ask Justice Saldana that he should keep a watch on these people. If they are making a cash payment, they cannot, as per the law, they cannot make the payment by cash. Third, why the hell they are staying in a 5-star hotel when the government of Karnataka has made 3 beautiful Karnataka Bhavans in Delhi? Why the hell they are staying over there? They are looting our money. We have elected them for 5 years and they are playing tamasha with us. They have no business to stay in politics.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharma. Great questions. Let's see what Vaman Acharya has to say to that. Mr. Acharya?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Acharya, this question was for the political representatives to you. Can you tell our viewers what work have your MLAs done in the first 7-8 months of the government? And can you tell us why aren't your MLAs staying in the government guest houses, but staying in luxury hotels?
This is my question. Tanvi, this is my question also. There was absolutely no atmosphere, no funds no arrangements, no plans and schemes to work in their areas. MLAs cannot work from their money, from pocket money, or they just can't go and walk and do work in their fields. They have to work with public, and there needs to be some plan, some sanctions, some programs for the whole year where government announces few things. In last 7 months, the government has been in paralysis. Nothing is happening in Karnataka. Whatever little funds, they go to only some restricted Janata Dal MLA areas, that is Old Mysore. Nothing is happening where this is a drought-hit area of northern Karnataka, from where most of the 104 MLAs come. Even in coastal areas and in Gurugram district, there were problems because of heavy rain. There also, the total services that this present government...
So why don't you work together with them, Mr. Acharya, instead of attempting to try and bring down the government and destabilizing it? Instead of trying to bribe their MLAs, why don't you work together with them, get some funds and projects on the way?
Tanvi, I'll tell you, it becomes our important duty to make the changes in the government. जो सरकार निकम्मी है, वो सरकार निकलना होगा, वो सरकार जाना होगा. जब तक वो सरकार रहेगा, तब तक कर्नाटक में कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला है.
So are you admitting to me tonight? So are you admitting to me tonight because you think this is a government that's not doing any work, that it's been paralyzed for the last 7 months, you are genuinely attempting to bring it down?
Yes, I agree. It is because if a government is there which is not performing, it becomes the duty of the opposition to see that जो सरकार नहीं काम कर रहा है उसको नीचे लाना है. This is also one of the duties of the opposition parties here, and we are in biggest number. We are 104 MLAs.
1 minute, Aishwarya. I think what Vaman Acharya is saying right now is very important. It's very important because suddenly the BJP is deciding कि कौन सी सरकार काम कर रही है और कौन नहीं कर रहा है, and who should be brought down. The voters are not deciding now. The BJP is deciding in Karnataka. Neerja Chaudhary, your view on what is just being told to us by the BJP spokesperson, that if the government is not working, it is our duty as opposition to bring them down.
We are not deciding on unconstitutional means.
We are deciding on the
please
people
highlight that. Mr. Vaman Acharya is telling
I don't know if there are any constitutional means to do it right now. Yes, okay. 1 minute. Neerja Chaudhary,
come out and defy the constitution for power.
So they are admitting that it is their duty to bring down the government because it doesn't seem to be doing any work. What would you like to say to that?
I think, number one, it's an admission by the BJP that they are trying to bring down the Karnataka government. At this stage, when the state is faced with very severe drought, as you've said, and drought in areas from where most of the BJP MLAs come, who are holed up in Haryana at the moment. I'll make a quick point on the payment part, whether they themselves are paying for their resort charges. How are we going to establish this? Even if you pay by credit card, what is to prevent a party person giving ABCDE money in a different way? How are you and I going to establish that? There's simply no way that can be established. So it's your word against anybody else's. But coming to toppling the government, it's a duty of any opposition to put the government on the mat, to hold the government accountable, to highlight what it's not doing. That is the duty of any blue-blooded opposition, and that is what BJP was expected to do. To say we will bring down the government, and the charges that are flying thick and fast is that you're trying to bring down the government by offering MLAs on the other side allurements to join your side. And it is possible the other side is also offering counter allurements to keep their people on their side. So is this the kind of democratic functioning? Is this the kind of thing that the people of Karnataka had voted for? These are very valid questions that your channel is today raising through the voices of people of Karnataka. And these are questions that need to be answered. And somebody else raised this point, anybody who indulges in resort politics should be disqualified. The anti-defection law came into existence. It was then, first it was 1/3 of the MLAs or legislators could break away. then it was okay. Then it became, it was strengthened and it became 2/3 of the MLAs. How are you going to, at the end of the day, enforce these laws? If you have unscrupulous politics of the kind we see enacted in state after state, for simple power through any means, by hook or by crook, no law is going to work at the end of the day. You need people with a vision, you need people of character in our legislators, and the tragedy is that we don't have them anymore.
Absolutely, and no amount of questioning and debating this and demanding accountability works, because we're just unable to root this entire breed of politicians out of it. I don't know how this changes. Maybe we need to follow what Justice Saldana says, bring in some tougher laws. Anti-defection laws don't seem to be working at this point because they only kick in after a certain extent. By then, all the negotiations, Justice Saldana, are done. Now, what do you have to say to what the BJP spokesperson is telling us right now? When the government isn't working, it is the opposition's duty to bring them down. Is that constitutional and democratic?
Can we?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
I can't hear. Tanvi, my simple answer. First of all, I was a little amused by the repeated references of the BJP representative to the word poaching. Now, my limited understanding tells me that poaching can only take place when somebody is for sale. Now, is this an admission? Obviously, it is. And then the Congress representative turns around and tells us that the greater part of the time, the house is empty. Now, she says that the X is responsible, the opposition is responsible, etc. All of us know that in every institution, starting with schools, absenteeism incurs disqualifications. Now, has anybody in this country been disqualified for remaining absent from the house? Why is that not being done? And if you say that there's been inaction or non-action on the part of the government, I don't believe it, because I live in Karnataka. I don't believe it at all. Are you even allowing the government to function? Now look at what has been happening in the last 2 weeks. Who's been responsible for this? And then I'm sorry to have to say this, but people who can't afford even an ambassador car or a bullock cart, one of the demands is that they should be given 2 crore rupee Jaguar or a Porsche which is worth 5 crores of rupees. Whereas you don't care. You don't care if the thousands and millions of people are starving to death in this state. Now, is this the caliber of the representatives? And how do they justify? Now, again, what amused me was the answer given, saying that they have been told to pay out of their own pocket. Now, will you tell me where is this money come to them from? None of them are employed. None of them have ancestral wealth. Where does this money come from? Each time we have an election, we are told that the person on the previous occasion declared resources of 2 crores, and this time their resources have, their assets have risen to 10 crores. Where have these assets come from? Where did this money come from? It's an open secret. You see, the corruption levels in this country are such that this, according to me, it becomes even worse if you say that you make money and pay for it out of that, which is not the case. Now, my view of the matter is, and I'm thankful to Mirror Now for having highlighted all of this, but my view of the matter is that if these parties, I don't care which party it is, it matters little to me, if these parties are not willing, if they're not willing to reform themselves and behave themselves, the citizens of this country will teach both of them a lesson in May 2019. Mark my words.
Absolutely. One can only hope that Justice Saldana,
because penalties, as I told you.
Yes. And one can only hope that, those within the judiciary are watching this, are taking a note of it, and somebody actually picks this up. Now, while we were debating this, I quickly just checked the prices of one of these fancy hotels where these 100 MLAs are staying. The cheapest room is above 20,000, 22,000. Say 2 MLAs share that room per night. That means that your daily bill will come to about 12.5 lakhs, excluding food. 12.5 lakh, each room, 20,000 plus taxes, 25,000 plus your food. They have been there now for 3-4 days. Either we are being told that we should buy this, that these MLAs are able to pay bills that run to the tune of 1 to 2 lakh out of their own pockets because we've elected such well-to-do MLAs, or that a daily bill for the entire gang, which runs up to 12 to 13 lakh rupees, is either being paid by the state, because obviously the party is not paying for it. Just something to think about. I'm just putting out some numbers there.
40,000 per night.
Well, that's the fancy one. Now, we don't know which ones the BJP MLAs ended up choosing. I am just taking the most conservative
cost. That's what the hotel has put out and is being reported in the local channels.
Yes, but I'm looking at the website right now and going by the most conservative numbers, of course, depending on how much we want to spoil them and how much of luxuries we want to give them, to remind them that you better stay back with BJP and don't go to the other side. Who's paying for it? Like Neerja Chaudhary said, we will never know. We've got one more viewer on the phone line, Mr. Srinivasan on the phone line from Bengaluru, a regular viewer. Good to have you, Mr. Srinivasan. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
As a 80-year-old, let me just ask 2 questions which every citizen of this country wants to know. First thing is, whether it is an MP or a MLA, everybody is elected by the people to govern. It is not whether he is from this party or that party. So every person should govern together, because every fellow is elected to govern. And my small clarification I wanted to know from Honorable Justice Saldana, sir, is it in the Constitution that those in the opposition are free not to govern and only to criticize? That's all. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much for calling us. We're unfortunately completely out of time, so I'm going to thank all of our panelists, but the conversation is not done. We are being told the Congress MLAs are all set to return tomorrow. There's going to be a roll call for all of them together to ensure that they've all come back from wherever they were vacationing or hiding or not hiding and working. And one can only hope that this crisis comes to an end. You heard what the party representatives told us tonight. There is no denying that an attempt was made to destabilize the government. The question is, how many more times will Karnataka have to suffer this in just the next 4 months as the general elections come closer? And do the people of Karnataka really deserve this? Every few months, a similar drama plays out in one state or the other. Why? I will come back to what I told you in the beginning. Purely for greed purposes. These politicians have no end to their greed. They want more and more and more. Now I'm an MLA. Now I want to become a minister. And now I want 4 more cars. Now I want this power and that power. Now I want a salary increase. The minute the session starts, let's first gift ourselves more money. Let's increase our own salaries. And then we will see whether we want to do any work or not. And all of this time, the farmers there are waiting for somebody to listen to them. Drought-hit state. I will say it again. To those MLAs sitting by the pool in that luxury hotel in Gurugram, are they thinking of those drought-hit farmers? Highly doubt. Youth on the streets. I don't think anybody is thinking about them right now. Think about this, viewers, and the next time you have to cast your vote, ask your representative whether they are going to resort to this kind of. I'm sure they will say no, they won't, and they will end up. Perhaps the only hope is the judiciary once again. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.